Bill Whittle on DC.
The second thing I would say to Ted is just as speaking as a friend, is I notice he likes to go back and forth. I get used to standing behind the podium if I were you, Mr. President. It provides a little ballistic protection. Not against bullets or anything, but those weenies don't know how to operate a gun anyway. But if somebody wants to throw a bran muffin at you or a glitter bomb, it's pretty close to your attitude, please. So I'm just going to pretty much stay right here. I was listening to President Unilateral Military Action just a few moments ago out there, and I have to tell you, Mike, if you had heard what he just said, in contradiction of everything he ran against, and contradiction of all of the criticisms he leveled against George Bush, who I might remind the current president was able to get several UN resolutions and something like 30 allies on board before he went overseas. I just want to tell you, listening to President Obama's speech just got me so fired up to come out and talk to you people, because I am tired to losing to these traitor, narcissist weenies. So let's talk about how we can do that. Let's talk about how we can win. We need candidates like Mr. Cruz who are not only able to articulate the message, or actually have the courage, the personal courage to vote against it. That goes a long way. But I would like to talk to you very briefly about something that's in my wheelhouse, which is the intersection of pop culture and politics. Everybody talks about politics and pop culture like they're separate things. Everybody says, well, the left has Hollywood, but we have whatever. But if the left has Hollywood, they're going to win. And the reason they're going to win is because people, we learned this from the last election, people don't vote based on what they feel, what they think about. They don't vote based on what they know. They vote based on how they feel about things they learn from the pop culture. As I said earlier today, exit polling of people who voted in November said that Mitt Romney won on the economy, which was far away the most important issue. Mitt Romney won that by 20 points. He won on the deficit reduction, he won on jobs, he won on defense, he won on everything. Obama won the election because they asked who cares most about you, and Obama, I think, won 89% of that particular vote. I know it sounds silly, but it's true. They won the election because they had managed to convince the American people that we were the villains in a story that they've been telling for 40 years. And people will never vote for the villains. Not ever. Doesn't matter how good the villain's policies are. Doesn't matter how boring or bland the hero is. You can have a bland, boring hero like a farm boy from Tatooine named Luke Skywalker, and you can have a dynamic, interesting villain like Darth Vader, who's nothing but power, and they will take the hero every time. And as long as we're the villains in our own culture, we're never going to win elections. We never are. So we have to learn how to fight that fight. And I've got just a few minutes to help teach you to do that. Now, if you don't think that pop culture has an effect on you, if you don't think that there's a political message that comes in through movies and television, let's just do a little experiment. I always enjoy playing this game. I'm going to start a sentence and I'm going to ask you to finish it. If I was a political operative, one of Barack Obama's progressive allies, let's say, and I could start a political statement and you could finish the sentence, we both know that I had you, right? We both know that I had such incredible control over what you were thinking about that if I could start a sentence and you finished it, I had you. So I'm going to start a couple of sentences and you can finish them. Ready? Look, up in the sky, it's a bird.
It's a plane. It's Superman.
Okay, we'll go a little bit younger this time. Here's one for people about
I know that.
Yes, sit right back and you'll hear a tale of a painful trip.
Everybody knows that too.
Started on a rather short with this tiny trip. And one finally for the younger ones out there. It seems today that all you see is violence and movies and
Sex on TV.
So what am I getting at here? Well, what I'm getting at here is this. If you could finish the sentence from Superman, if I could say, look up in the sky, it's a bird, it's a plane, and you could go, it's Superman, then that means that you know the finishing lines of the Superman introduction. You didn't have to go to a website. Nobody had to hand you a pamphlet. You knew how to finish that sentence because Superman was in your head. He'd been in your head for 40 years. And everything that Superman represents politically, truth, justice, and the American way, is in your head too. Any audience of people that grew up with classical Superman automatically love this country because Superman is about the best America that we could be. And when Superman was all over the pop culture, we were a nation that loved this country. Now, 20 years after the peak of Superman Superman's popularity, along comes Gilligan's Island. That's pretty neutral, kind of, in terms of politics. Really about the only message you can get from Gilligan's Island is, if you want to get off the island, all you really have to do is just kill Gilligan. Be off next week. But
If you want to leave the island, some people wouldn't want to.
and you can finish the theme song from Family Guy, then all of the anti-American, anti-capitalist, anti-Christian, anti-morality messages of Family Guy are in your head as completely and thoroughly as that theme song is. You're programmed
Yeah.
by the pop culture.
Yeah, it is.
You're
It is
programmed
family.
by story. Everything we do is story. When you meet relatives at Thanksgiving, the first thing you want is